Scones, specifically golden raisin scones from this 1997 book, Afternoon Tea Serenade. And these are from Harrods. It is a tea place in London. So here's the picture and the page we're going to use. So thank you so much for joining me on this tea time adventure. We're going to get going on these scones right now. So first we're going to need some unbleached flour. And a little bit later, I will show you more about that cookbook. But we're going to have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And I've already got the recipes down in the description below for both the scones and the lemon curd. So here goes 1 cup of flour, 2 cups, and 3. Here we are on that. So how are you all doing today? I hope great. It's a beautiful day here. It's starting to get a little windy and cloudy, but I'm excited for the rain coming soon. So we have 2 tablespoons of baking powder going in here. And I am very excited for scones. They're one of my favorite things. I make a ton of them because I work at a tea house on the weekend, so always scone time. So what we're going to do is with these 2 dry ingredients, the flour and the baking powder, we're going to kind of sift this. I only have this mini whisk because I'm going to be using my bigger one for the lemon curd. But we have the flour and the baking powder here. So next, we're going to be working in 6 tablespoons of butter. Oops. And so let's get out our unsalted butter. Welcome, everyone. We are making scones from Afternoon Tea Serenade. It's a 1997 book, and we're making the ones from Harrod's Hotel. And here we've got flour and baking powder. All the recipes, the 2 recipes we're using are in the description down below. Thank you so much for the heart. And let me cut up this butter for the scones. We want 6 tablespoons. So I didn't get this chopped up before, but let me move you here so you can see a little bit better. Yes, what are you making? I am making some golden raisin scones. We have our golden raisins here from this Afternoon Tea Serenade book. We're making Harrod scones. So this is a tea time place in London, and this is a 1997 book. So we're going to be cutting in the butter. This is a nice short, simple recipe, and the recipe is down in the description below already, along with the lemon curd. Oh, yes, it does sound yummy, doesn't it? Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, let me know what scone, if you like scones, and also what flavors you like, if you like to add dried fruits or spices or anything. So I'm just chopping up the butter like this and adding it to my dry mixture. And we will get that cut in. So you can see all those little pieces in there. It makes for a nice light scone when we work in the butter well. And how many of you like to do afternoon tea or tea and cookies or scones often? It's a really fun tradition, I find. So let's get this worked in. I like to use my fingers to get the butter worked in. You can also use a pastry blender, 2 knives, 2 forks, anything like that if you wish. I feel like I can feel everything and make sure that I get everything worked in if I am using my hands mixing this scone mixture here. So all we have is flour, baking powder, and the butter in so far. So this is a nice simple recipe. And we are going to be making some fresh lemon curd to accompany this. So once we get our scones in the oven, that will be a fun thing to do next. And the lemon curd recipe is one. Oh, hey, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Um, Lemon curd is one that I make at the tea house every weekend. I cannot remember where I got the recipe. It actually happens to be dairy free, and I like it because it doesn't have the butter in it. So I feel like you can taste a little more of the lemon. So let me know what you like to put on your scones. Yeah, it's very, very yummy. I like tart lemon flavors. So yeah, let me know if you like cream, jam, lemon curd, marmalade. What else do you like to put on scones or even just butter? A lot of good options there. We always serve um, clotted cream, lemon curd, and jam with our scones at the tea house. So yes. Um, so here we are. We've got this scone mixture all ready to go. I'm just going to rinse off my hands really quick. And then we are going to be adding in the sugar and the raisins and then finally the milk. So that's the only danger with the scones is getting your hands full of flour. So, okay. We are following along on a recipe here in the book. So we need 6 tablespoons sugar. So I'm going to use this 2 tablespoon measure. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. All right. So we have 6 tablespoons of sugar. And then we have a half cup of golden raisins. So I'm going to use this. Whoops, that's a lot. Well, a few extra will not hurt. And let's see, we'll just use this to mix it up. So right now it looks like this. All right. So that looks really good. Let me know what you think. And we have some milk that we're going to put in here. So I like to use whole milk, whatever you have works. So we have a whole cup of this that we're going to add in here and make a nice dough. So we're just going to mix it a little bit, and let me get my, oops, pick that up later. I have this mat that I like to use for rolling out scones or rolling out cookies or anything. I like this rubber mat here. And we're going to put a little bit of flour on there. And I have my rolling pin and then my round cutter. So we are going to spread that on here, get this mixed up, and I will need to also get my baking pan out for the scones. So you can see this dough is coming together just like this. It looks so good, doesn't it? And so I'm just going to stir this just slightly. We don't want to over mix this. But here we are. That looks great. So I'm just going to mix it a little bit here on the mat. And then we're going to be cutting out our scones. Here we are. So let me move you down here a little bit so you can see. I like to sort of fold it and kind of not really knead it a lot like bread, but just kind of get it folded in like this. Yes. And we're going to get a nice dough going here. And then we will cut out our lovely Harrod scone. All right. Get that all patted down. All right. So I'm going to use my rolling pin here. I just want to get this around an inch thick, more or less. You can see that here. And I'm going to be cutting these out. Let me grab a baking pan. All right, so I have my baking pan here with a silpat liner. So we're going to use that to cut out or to bake the scones. So I'm going to cut these out like so. Look how nice that looks. You can see the raisins right there. So those look lovely, don't you think? Yes, that looks so great. I'm really excited to try these golden raisin ones. I've had regular raisin ones, but yes. And we want to space them apart like this. And so I might get fewer than 12 here, but I want to make them a really nice size. So let's get those cut out here. Okay. Those look really nice, don't they? And then we are going to be brushing a little bit of milk on these. So you can also, if you want, take the extra dough, because there's quite a bit. So we got 6, 7, and just re-roll that a little bit. We don't want to re-roll too many times because we don't want tough scones, but we can do this a little bit to squeeze out some more scones. So here we are with that. And we can get 9, 10, 11. I think that is about good. So we have a nice amount of scones here on our baking tray, if you can see that. I'm going to grab a brush, and I also had to wash my hands again. Sorry about that. I'm going to grab a pastry brush from over here. All right, so we're going to be brushing a little bit of milk. Welcome, everyone. We are making golden raisin scones. We're just about ready to put them in the oven. So here I have them. They are ready to bake, and we're just going to brush a little bit of milk on them. So doesn't that look nice? And we're going to be baking these at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes. So once these are in the oven, we're actually going to move on to the lemon curd. So I'm going to be moving you over to the stove area and going on along with that. Okay, so these are going in the oven for 15 or 20 minutes at 400 degrees. And let's get these in here. I always like to put them in the center of the oven. So I'm going to move you guys over just a moment so that we can see the goings on with the lemon curd. Here we are. Little bit of a change. So here we are at the stove, and we have everything ready. Well, almost. I need to grab the eggs. I forgot. Um, so we're actually going to be dividing those up here in this bowl. But we have 2¼ cups of sugar. And then we have the rind of 3 lemons already made here. We're making lemon curd here on the stove to go with our scones. And then we have about 2¼ cups of lemon juice. So we're going to go ahead and put the lemon juice here in our big pot on the stove. And then we're going to put the lemon zest in here. Doesn't that look delicious? And then we're actually going to mix this around with the sugar because this lets out the oils um, in the lemon zest, and it makes it really, really flavorful. I just love this step here. I think it makes the lemon curd extra special. So then we're going to put this in the pot there. Let me grab a spoon. So we're going to stir this around. We're going to be heating that up in just a moment. But in the meantime, we're going to need to get these eggs cracked and ready to go. So we're going to have 6 whole eggs and then 3 egg yolks. So I'm going to set these aside here. I'm going to put the whites in here. Oops, that went in there quickly. Oops. And so a yolk goes in here. Put those in the sink for later. Okay. And then more white in here. This process gets a little bit messy. Another yolk there. So we're getting 3 yolks ready. I will save the egg whites for a different recipe. And there we go. Let's get 6 eggs in here. Okay. Let me know what tea time recipes you like. If you like vintage books, vintage cookbooks. A little bit of shell went in there. I'll be washing my hands in just a moment. All of these things are very messy, so. And let me know if you love lemon curd. This is a really delicious recipe, so I hope you try it. It is in the description down below already for you. And just to warn you, this makes a really big batch, but let me wash my hands again, sorry. But you can freeze it. It lasts in the fridge for a couple weeks, and then you can also freeze it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enjoy some of this, but then I'm going to freeze the extra for a tea party later on. So that is a great way to go. Okay, so these egg whites go away over here to the side. We are going to be heating up this lemon juice and sugar mixture and lemon zest just a little bit. We want to make sure that this mixture, that the sugar dissolves. That's the most important part. And then we're going to be combining these and whisking it constantly. And then we will be straining it. So let's get this all heated up here. And we don't need to boil this or anything. We just need to make sure that the sugar dissolves and it gets it gets a little bit warm. But that's just the purpose of this step. So let's see how our scones are doing. Oh, they're looking quite nice in there in the oven. So let me grab one of these so that we can get our scones out shortly. And I'm going to get a mesh strainer and stuff ready for our lemon curd as well. Sorry about the interruption. All right, so we have our bowl and our mesh strainer for when we're going to strain out the lemon curd, because sometimes little bits of egg do cook in the lemon curd. So we want to be able to strain that out afterwards. So let me know in the chat if you like afternoon tea, what your favorite toppings are, what your favorite little sandwiches are, any of that thing, any of those things. And as we let this heat up, I wanted to point out this book, Afternoon Tea Serenade. It comes in this really pretty box. And why it's called Serenade, it has something special inside here. Let me show you if I can open this. It has a CD in it. Oh my gosh, very 90s, right? So the only place I can play this is in the car. And I really need to try this out. My lovely aunt gave this to me just a few months before she passed away this past year. So this is very special to me. So I hope to be able to play this music, and it's meant to be that you play the music while you're having tea. So I'm really curious to see what lovely music it has. It says classical chamber music. And what I also love about this book is it has different sections for each tea place. So for example, we're in the Harrods section of London, England. So that's what I love about this book. All right. So we are ready. The sugar has dissolved on this really well. So what we're going to do is take this lemon juice sugar mixture and pour it right into the eggs and egg yolks. And we're going to quickly, causes a bit of a mess, but we're going to quickly whisk this up in the bowl, and then we're going to get it back on the stove. I better turn on the fan just a little bit here. Some of that mixture got on the stove. Oops. Okay. So let's get that back in the pan. And what we're going to be doing is whisking this constantly so that it thickens up. And don't worry if a little bit of sugar or something gets on the stove. That happens sometimes. So anyway, yes, and let me know if you've ever made lemon curd. The most common ones do have butter. And they are also very delicious, but I just really like this tart flavor. So we'll see how it pairs with our golden raisin scones. And they are about to come out of the oven in just a few minutes here. As we're stirring away, let me get you a little bit closer so you can see the pot. Yay, here we are. Okay. So we can see a little bit more of the cooking process here. How many of you have ever cooked anything where you have to just keep stirring constantly? It can be a little challenging sometimes, but we have to, a lot of custards and things like that are like that. So switching hands is a good idea. If your arm gets tired, use the other arm. But you got to keep going so you don't get any egg pieces in there. So got to keep this going. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I appreciate you. And yes, Welcome everybody. We are making lemon curd to go with our golden raisin scones from Harrods from this afternoon tea serenade book. So let me know if you love scones, love making them. If you've ever been to Harrods, it's a place I have never been. I did go to the Ritz in London. I think it was about 3 to 4 years ago, but it was lovely. So this is starting to thicken a little bit. We want to cook this probably around 10 minutes, maybe a little bit less, but we want it to make sure that it gets fairly thick. So that's why we are heating it and making sure that, yeah, but it does bubble a lot. So be careful not to get spattered by the bubbles. So be careful with that. And it really is starting to bubble and really thicken up quite a bit. So I'm going to get my ladle here so we can ladle some of this out in a moment. I'm turning the heat down just a little bit. So if you're just joining us, we're making lemon curd to go with our golden raisin scones from Harrod from a 1997 recipe, and the scones are just about ready to come out of the oven. We're cooking the lemon curd here on the stove, and it's a great activity to do while you're waiting for your scones to bake. Getting two things done at one time is always great, I say. And if you have never been here, my name is Trista. I am the Vintage Cookbook Nerd, and every week I am here live on Tuesdays doing lots of different recipes, and also I put out a couple videos every week, one or two at least, with vintage recipes. So for Mother's Day, I got some really old books. One is from 1904, so I'll be exploring some of those recipes. That will be really fun. So I think this is coming together. I think I'm just gonna cook it maybe 2 more minutes, and we're gonna be straining that in a moment. So thank you for sticking with me. This is looking good. So yummy. We want to make sure it gets thick enough so that when it cools, it will be kind of a jam-like texture for putting on the scones. So it's so yummy. If you're not able to stay the whole time, feel free to watch the replay and enjoy the recipes that are down below as well for both the scones and the lemon curd. Okay, I'm going to be taking this off the stove and let us strain this. So look how delicious this lemon curd looks. We're putting it in a strainer over a bowl to catch any of the zest or accidental cooked eggs, because that always happens no matter what. And this just makes it nice and smooth. So I like this trick of always straining your lemon curd to make sure that it is free of little egg bits and everything else. So this is looking beautiful. Yay. So lovely. And it looks liquidy when you first strain it, but it will thicken up upon cooling. So do not worry about that. It's straining quite nicely, and we can use a rubber spatula to kind of ease the straining process a little bit. So kind of strain it through the mesh strainer here. You can see how pretty that is. Oh, it's hot, be careful. So I'm going to stop this process for just a second because our scones are just about ready. Here goes our timer. Let's see. Ooh, these look lovely. Look how beautiful these golden raisin scones look. So this was just 15 minutes in the oven. I'm going to turn that off. So let's see how these look. I'm going to grab it very carefully here so you can see. This is the golden raisin scone. It looks absolutely fabulous. It looks very golden and biscuit-like. It looks fabulous. So I'm going to let this cool down for just a second over here. Let me show you the tray one more time. Look how beautiful those look. They're absolutely perfect. You could even do them a couple minutes less if you didn't want them so golden, but I think these are perfect. So let's finish straining our lemon curd, and then we are going to try the scone and see how it is. Maybe we'll be able to put some of the lemon curd on there if it's cooled down a little bit. That's the only thing. It gets a little hot, the lemon curd, but let's get that strained. Okay, so I'm going to grab a plate so that we can try a little bit of this. Okay, I have a plate and we have our lovely golden raisin scone from Harrods. Doesn't that look pretty? And so we have, oops, that's the wrong knife. A little spreader here I'm going to use for the lemon curd. And I always like to break open the scone. Oh, look at that steam and look how fluffy it is. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Mmm, lovely. Okay, I know that this lemon curd is just freshly made, but we have to try a little bit. So let's put some of that on both halves. That looks lovely. Okay. Hopefully I won't burn my mouth with this. So let's give it a little taste. Mmm. Oh, wow. Mmm. So good. Mmm. This scone is super soft. I know you're not supposed to eat them straight out of the oven, but I do recommend it actually because they're really good. And the lemon curd with it is fabulous as well. Wow. I have to taste a little bite with more of the raisins. Mmm. 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 The golden raisins, excuse me, have a little bit of a different flavor, which I really like. They're nice and soft. Mmm. That is amazing. So really, really good. Highly recommend. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to leave you here. Enjoy the recipes down in the description below. And I will see you on Friday or maybe even before for another vintage video. Thanks. Bye.